Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be going over how all signs point towards Ben Johnson being the next Washington Commanders head coach. I'm going to be looking at odds, my opinion, and also a bunch of different reports from credible reporters. And we'll talk about some other possibilities for the head coaching job as well. If you guys are new, hit that like button, subscribe as well, and that notification bell, and comment down below who you want as the next head coach. It helps out the algorithm a ton. Alrighty, so I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday. There's playoff football today. You got two games with the Browns and Texans coming up in about an hour. And then you got the Chiefs and the Dolphins in extreme cold weather. So that should be a fun and interesting game. But today we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders' next head coach and why a lot of these reports are, reporting that Ben Johnson's going to likely be that next guy. That's their main target. But obviously, there's still other teams that are interested in him. He is the top candidate for a reason. And with that, he's going to have a lot of interest. And, the Carolina Panthers are going to want him badly. And I think it's very clear that this head coaching job is way more attractive than Ben Johnson, than the Panthers. I mean, first off, we have I think one of the most important things for a new head coach is ownership, and seeing the track record with, Frank Reich there being fired. Obviously Frank Reich, maybe he didn't do the best job, but being fired midway through the season, let's not act like it was all his fault. And this is the guy that just hired him that off season and was talking so, highly of him. And if I'm a head coach, I'm not feeling good about going there. Even if he's paying me all this money, I might be gone in a couple years. And even then, also, I might not get as much say as I want. So that's kind of my take on the situation. The Panthers, their head coaching job, or how good their job looks, in my opinion, is all the way down at the bottom. And there's a big gap between the last place, them, and then the next team above them, whatever that is. If that's the Titans or it was the Patriots, even though they have good ownership, it's really, really bad. You got a terrible team. They're not a good team. The offense is terrible. The defense is good. And just, it's not an attractive destination, but that's what the reports are saying, that we're really competing with them. And David Tepper is going to want to pay a lot of money. But right now, Ben Johnson is the odds-on favorite to be the Commanders' next head coach at minus 140. And Bill Belichick's plus 450. That's not happening. I could see Bobby Sloak just because of that connection with Adam Peters. He worked in San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh, maybe. Mike McDonald, I would love it. Eric Bieniemy's going down the list. He was number 2 this past week. Raheem Morris, Mike Vrabel, Dan Quinn, and maybe there's some other wild cards in there as well. I'm sure because Adam Peters, they requested 7 guys and they virtually interviewed with a couple of them. I'm sure Adam Peters is going to get a couple guys that he wants to bring in. Maybe that he doesn't want to bring in as head coach, but hey, let's see what they think about our team, or let's see, maybe we don't want them as a head coach, but maybe as a coordinator, and they're a position coach right now or something like that. So he might try to, interview some guys. Kubiak, I don't know what he does with the 49ers, but that's a guy that maybe could be a coordinator as well. But yesterday was reported we hired Adam Peters, and Mike Garafolo was the expected hire all the way through. Peters will now work to tab the next Commanders coach with Lions OC Ben Johnson firmly in place. So saying that, it's just okay, all the signs are pointing towards him being the next hire. He's not going to say that for no reason. And literally, that's his post about us hiring Adam Peters also has Ben Johnson in that. He's saying that for a reason, and a lot of people in league circles think we're the favorites. Does that mean it's going to happen? No, because again, we don't know how Ben Johnson's wired. Maybe he really wants the money, and maybe the Panthers are going to give him more. But I'll say this. I think Josh Harris, we've heard this before. When he wants his guy, he's getting his guy. When he wanted Daryl Morey in Philadelphia, he got him and convinced him to stay, gave him some money. Probably did that with Adam Peters as well, and is going to want to do that with Ben Johnson. So if it's a question of money, I mean, obviously David Tepper is very rich, but I'm sure, Josh Harris will be willing to, pay him a lot. Maybe he won't be willing to pay as much as the Panthers do, but hey, if if it's like a difference of $1 million and you're making whatever it is, let's just say $10 million a year versus $9 million a year, is that really that much of a difference when you're making that many millions? At that point, obviously it's still $1 million a year, but I don't think it's that much of a difference. And I think at that point he would, stay with us. I don't know what the price is going to be. There was rumors about $15 million in the offseason. I don't care because it doesn't count against the cap. So whatever Harris wants to pay, it's out of his and the other owners' pockets. So go ahead and do it, whatever it takes to get him. He is my number one candidate. And then it's Mike McDonald probably at 2. And then maybe like Bobby Slowick, the next tier like Mike Vrabel. I don't know if Slowick's ready yet. I really don't. I like him, but he is a first-year coordinator, and at least Ben Johnson, he's had 2 years. Mike McDonald had 2 or 3 years with the Ravens, also had a year with Michigan, so he has great experience. And yeah, he did really well against the Texans and against the Lions, so he definitely, that's what I would be talking about in my interviews if I'm Mike McDonald. But I still rather have Ben Johnson just because he's an offensive guy and he can help develop our next young quarterback. But if it's Mike McDonald, I will be happy. I really will be happy. There's only a couple guys that I really wouldn't be happy with, and I just don't think it's a possibility. I think it's going to be Ben Johnson, and if it's not Ben Johnson, it'll be Bobby Slowick or maybe Mike McDonald. And you could potentially see Jim Harbaugh in the mix, or maybe Mike Vrabel. Who knows? I obviously he probably wasn't in the plans of Josh Harris before he got fired, but maybe that changes things a little bit. And there's obviously other teams that are going to be interested in Ben Johnson as well besides the Panthers. I'm sure the Chargers will be. I'm not sure if they sent in a request. I mean, every team's probably going to interview him unless they think they absolutely have no chance. And this is the report from Diana Rossini. I should have put this at the top, or at the start of the video, but she says, while Washington is going to attack the search for head coach with openness and flexibility, the Commanders are targeting Detroit's Ben Johnson as their top choice, per sources. Carolina is also hoping to land Johnson. So that's our main competition. And, the Chargers, they might interview him, but I think Jim Harbaugh is the guy they want. And the Raiders, it looks like they're getting Antonio Pierce, which is good. I think he deserves the job, but also, again, we weren't going for him, so that's a win-win. It's a win for us because we weren't going for him, and it takes out one head coaching spot. So it's a little bit less competition for us, and the Patriots spot is now filled with Jared Mayo being hired there, which is not a surprise. So, yeah, I think that there's a solid shot. What I would say probably like a 60% chance, 65% chance that the Commanders hire Ben Johnson, and that is high considering there's so many different candidates that it could happen. And I think it would be an absolute home run for the Washington Commanders to land Adam Peters and then to land Ben Johnson. And, Adam Peters did a really good job in San Francisco. And a bunch of people are going to be like, well, they traded up for Trey Lance. They drafted Javon Kinlaw. Here's the thing. He was the third guy in the pecking order behind John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. So he didn't have as much say as obviously he wanted and as some people think. So especially with those first round picks that you have so much time, and it's so important that these guys, especially Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, are going to be, watching so much film to, try to figure these guys out. But Kyle Shanahan, he's going to watch some film, but he's not going to watch a ton of film on George Kittle or Fred Warner or a 5th round linebacker or a 6th round linebacker like Adam Peters is. So I think the late round success that the 49ers have had, and I forgot to even mention Brock Purdy, even though I heard another scout was the main guy, but still Peters signed off on it and he thought he was a mid-round guy, 4th round guy. So to get him in the 7th, Mr. Irrelevant, was a great pick for them. So the late round success I really think is attributed to Adam Peters. And, the first round picks, you probably agreed with some of them, but also maybe wanted some other guys as well. But that's, again, he's third. He's behind Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, who has a lot of power there in San Francisco. So I'm really excited to see what he can do here in Washington. I'm really excited for the press conference. That's going to happen probably on Monday or Tuesday. Excited for that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and peace, guys.